Welcome to Good News at Primetime. Hi, I am Sylvia Hayes, and we have a show for you tonight. As you know, we are in 2022, and a lot of you made New Year's resolutions, and a lot of you just said, I'm going to do better. I'm going to do this and do that for the new year. 22 is going to be my year. So we're going to talk about that, the new you in 22. Okay, the new year in 2022. We're going to talk about what you plan on doing, some of the things that people have decided they were going to do for the new year because there's so many things. Some people might say, I'm going to buy me a house. That's not necessarily a New Year's resolution, but that is a goal. Some people say, I'm going to change my attitude. That's not necessarily a resolution, but it is a goal for a new year, for the year 22. And there are so many things. I know I have one. The new you for me, I'm going to be more assertive in selling my book and letting people know about me because I am, by nature, I am a quiet person. And so I don't get out and promote myself like I need to. So this year, I said, I'm going to be different. I'm going to change me, change my attitude and everything. I'm going to get out there and talk about me, promote my book because my goal is to save the world. That is my goal, and that's what I want to do with my book, of course. You know, Power Thoughts. You know, this is my book, Power Thoughts, and I want everybody to have that book because it helps so many people, and so that's my goal to get out there to be a speaker, to help women, to help children, the youth, everybody, really, everybody. But my target is the women who've been in domestic abuse situations and the young people, middle school through high school, maybe some college people, those type people. That's who my target is, even though I want to help the grandmothers and the mothers, everybody, but that's my main target. Okay. So with that in mind, I am going to say, I might as well just go ahead and bring in my co-host. Hey, Reggie, how are you doing today?
What's up there, Miss Sylvia? Happy New Year again. All those good things. Those some good goals to set, and I know you can do it. Uh, and I know you'll make it happen. It's nothing like finding something a worthwhile project that you can do, um,
Right.
and sticking to it. And you got uh, a powerful tool. You got the book. Now we at the 25th day of the year. They say it
Mm-hmm.
takes 21 days to either break or have it. Now, not to put a lot of doom and gloom in people up front, but most folk already done quit. They couldn't make it
Yeah.
past 25 days. A lot of people couldn't go 30 days before they said, you know what, I just can't do this. Oh Lord, this I, this just ain't me. But there are a lot of people that will continue to fight. Uh, we started something which is the first 100 days. Over the next 100 days, I'll go over those real quick. I had to think of them real quick. I had to slap myself on the back and push myself so that I'll do it for the next 100 days. We just in day number 25, but for the next 100 days, we're gonna spend at least 10 minutes a day with me, myself, and I, just focusing on me, myself, and I, finding out what I like, what I don't like, what I want to do, those type things. And then drink at least one full bottle of water a day. Just
Mm-hmm.
one bottle. And then the third thing is to walk, crawl, hop, or run 1 mile a day. And then the fourth thing is to save at least $1 a day over the next 100 days. Now, people say that ain't a lot of money, drummer. $100, that's $100. Well, if you're real good and you've been sitting up front, save 10. If you save $10 a day over the next, 100 days, you'll have $1,000. And then number 5, contact your family members. It's a good time to contact family members. If you contact 100 of your family members, ask them how they doing, You ain't gonna ask them for no money. They might think you calling for money because a lot of them, they was calling and they was saying, what do you want, Unc? I hadn't heard from you in a while, but those are some things that I'm looking at over the next 100 days. And those are just
Right.
my personals, but and they do it all over. When you look at from the worldwide, there's some worldwide goals, first 100 days. There's some national goals that are unique to the United States. And there are some goals that are unique to your city, wherever you live. And then we got our personal goals. So we want to go past 21 days. So pat yourself on your back, give yourself a thumbs up
Yeah,
for staying
and
on
I want
point.
to say that that walking a mile a day. Some people might say, I don't have time to walk a mile, or that's too far for me to walk. But you know what? If you drive to work and you have to park in a parking lot, you get out and walk around that parking lot a few times. And then in the afternoon, you walk around that parking lot again. Do it during your break, your lunch break or something like that. Walk up and down the stairs instead of taking the elevator or the escalators. Walk up and down the stairs. You can get it in. It's not as hard as people think it is. So
Mm.
that's one of the things I would say about that. And as far as that me time, I take that me time, and it is so relaxing. Of course, mine is in the bathroom. I take my time. Sometimes I'm in the bathroom for a whole hour, just pampering me, might do some exercising, cutting my toenails, lotioning up my body, and just thinking. That is my me time. I'm quiet in there, so you can have that me time. It's not that difficult to do. But sometimes, because I have a radio in the bathroom too, so I'm
Mm.
listening to the music, enjoying it, and listening to the news or whatever they have to say. That's my me time. I'm relaxed. I'm pampering myself. I'm good to go. So I was just going to add that to that because it's not
Well,
always as difficult as people think it is.
well, not since you brought it up, and I noticed on the commercials, there's a lot of commercials dealing with toilet paper. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of getting people because even though not to get way out there, but the bathroom is two areas of your home, three areas of your home is important. One is the kitchen because that's where you prepare and eat most of your food.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is the bedroom because that's where you sleep, you rest, you get up, you spend a little quality time in the bedroom, sleeping. Now, some people fall asleep. If you took the survey, there are a good proportion of people that fall asleep on the sofa, on the floor. But most people, invest in a mattress and they go to sleep for at least 2 to 6 hours a night. And then the third most important place or space is the bathroom. You know, we brush our teeth, we eliminate bodily fluids and waste in the bathroom. And we have to be more cautious because when you start paying attention to yourself, you know, not to get gross, but a lot of times, a lot of males, and I noticed all these toilet paper commercials, they're softer, they're more comfortable because people are paying attention to even how they clean themselves. And with
Mm-hmm.
COVID-19 and different things, people are really paying attention. So the bathroom is also one of the spaces and places that you can find out a lot about your health. You can look at your urine. You can look at your feces. I just had a friend that found out that was back in December. He started looking at his, his stool and paying attention. He had blood in his stool. Well, and the only reason I bring this up because he was thinking it could have been something bad. He said, "Man, I don't want to go to the doctor. I found, you know, using toilet paper, not to sound gross, he got blood on the paper. But guess where it came from?
Where?
Using hard toilet paper." Now I know
Yeah.
people say, "Man, goodness, is this a conversation that men talk about?" Yes, the brother. It was uncomfortable because, dude, I really don't want to have this conversation. But I was glad because we was thinking it could have been colon cancer. He got his colonoscopy.
Mm-hmm.
We were thinking a whole lot of things. But believe it or not, he almost got hemorrhoids from using inappropriate toilet paper, cheap
Really?
toilet paper. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why,
Yeah.
two things I noticed. I noticed a lot of commercials, and this is the new you in 2022, dealing with toilet paper. A lot of commercials dealing with uh, a lot of different things when it comes to our health. Okay, even
Mm-hmm.
dealing with rest. You see a lot of commercials dealing with rest, mattresses. Believe it or not, most of our ailments can be healed with proper rest.
Yep,
So
it can be. But let me go back to the bathroom and the stool. Did you
okay,
know that when your bowel move, if it's floating and nothing comes off when you wipe, that you don't have any toxins in your body?
okay, I can
Floating
go with that.
stool
Good.
means you don't have a lot of toxins. And when you wipe and nothing comes off, that means you're good on the inside.
Okay. Well, okay, we might have to change the subject of this, but
Yeah, but
I would
but
say
but that is a
a
healthy
good
thing to know
portion of
though, because some
America,
people they don't know that.
yeah,
Huh?
but a lot of people got a lot of toxins.
Yeah, because
Cause,
it floats down to the bottom. Yeah, but
yeah,
if you put the right foods in your body and stuff, you can get those toxins out. It'll start
it,
floating on the top. And that means you don't have a whole lot of toxins in your body. And
okay,
not
yeah,
having
yeah,
toxins is very good.
okay.
That's a
Well,
healthy thing.
that's a healthy thing. So a part of a new you is monitoring. I did it. Um, Matter of fact, it's been 25 days, and I hadn't uh, eaten a fast food item like a hamburger or some fried chicken from a place. Now I know
Mm,
sometimes people say, "Man, drummer, that's not a big thing," but sometimes we got to do some new little things to get a new you in 2022.
right.
If you can hold yourself accountable and say, "You know what? I'm going to go on a semi fast, meaning doing without something over the next whether it's 30, 100 days, but you discipline yourself because if you want to get a new you, they say it takes 21 days at least to either develop a new habit. Okay. And if you can stay
Mm-hmm.
consistent for 21 days, some type of regiment, because a lot of people say, what, I'm gonna lose 100 pounds. Okay, you ain't gonna lose 100 pounds. You can put a zero by that. A lot of people say, I'm gonna get rich. They do that for the first. They buy all the little seminars, suck up all the tapes, listen to Tony Robbins, Les Brown, and then if you can't pace yourself, it's going to be very difficult to get a new you. You look up and you say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But if you come up with a game plan, and over here we say develop a system, and a system stands for something that saves you time, energy, and material. Because if you come up with a system, if you're going to break a habit, it's hard to break a habit. You say, I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to stop eating pork. Just to say it. Now, less than 1% of the population has the capability of speaking something and making it happen. The rest of the
Less than
99%,
1%?
less than 1%, less than 1% of people on the planet can say something and they'll do it. This, I'm going to stop smoking right now. I'm gonna save money right now. I'm gonna stop playing the lottery right now. I'm gonna stop gambling right now. Less than 1% of the humans on this planet. The rest of us fall in the other category. It takes a little
Mm,
convincing for us to get to do something. To get up and say,
right.
I'm gonna start exercise. I'm gonna drink. If you hadn't been drinking water every day, it's gonna be difficult. I got a buddy already said, I just can't do this. Drink a glass of water every day. Because when he was not paying attention, he was not paying attention to the fact that he wasn't drinking water every day. And now that
Mm-hmm.
it's something he's got to constantly think about for his new you, uh, is hard. I said, man, you overthinking this thing. All you gotta do is just drink just find a bottle of water. He said, you know what? That water sat there for 3 days, drummer. I already broke the rule. And I said,
Uh,
well, so it could be simple things. Now they're just getting a bottle of water and just sticking it down, just drinking it. And just imagine
mm-hmm.
if you get something a little bit more difficult, you say, I'm gonna run a mile. That's why we say run, walk, or crawl. You can jog in place in your place, for like 5, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh, but we got to trick our minds because in order to get a new you, it's, like I said, only about 1% of the population can do it like that. The rest of us
Right.
need help. Sometimes you need an accountability partner. Somebody will check with you and say, drummer. I'm like, what? Are you drinking a thing, a bottle of water? And you're like, man, I don't want to hear from you. I'm tired of you telling me to drink some water. It might be a spouse,
Yeah.
or a loved one, a significant other. You say, stop telling me to go to the gym. And you're the one that thought of it. You say, you know what? I need an accountability partner. I'm trying to save some money. Maybe you're trying to get a new car before April. If you save money over the next 100 days, you'll have money for a down payment. $10 a day is only two sandwiches and a fry and a soda from a fast food place. You stop doing that for 100 days, you'll have $1,000. And if you do it for 200 days, which is almost half the year, you have $2,000. And these are things that you
Yeah.
can do, but sometimes you need a little help. So part of a system is you got to have accountability partners if you want a new you.
Yeah, and those accountability partners do help out too, because I wouldn't say he was an accountability partner, but it was a friend of mine that held me accountable somewhat with my book, because I had
Mm,
told him about it, and I told him I've been working on the book forever, for years, right? I had the beginning and I had the end, but it was the middle I was working on. So he said, I'm going to hold you accountable for it. And he would call
mm,
me, have you done anything? I'm going, no, not
mm.
yet. And later on, he'll call me again. Well, I got started, and it got to a point too, I'm going, he cannot call me again and I haven't done anything on this book. I had to get on it, just to keep
Right,
from hearing him. But with him pushing me or just holding me accountable, it made me finish. And
right.
sometimes you need that. You need that push, because we can say we're gonna do stuff, but then we get behind, get laggy, But when somebody come out and push you a little bit, get you going. So you
Well,
need that.
it's always something else to do other than what you need to do. There's
Mm-hmm.
always something come up. The news. Hold it. I was about to go run, but I just heard a news flash from Channel 5. So now I don't have Channel 5 has taken up my time. I
Right.
procrastinated. I've got a distraction. Up here, you see a sign that says, who yo, hold up your own end.
Hold your own end.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
I see it.
Hold up yo. I got to make sure I'm going the right way. Hold up your own end. Well, if you want to get a new you, it's nobody's responsibility to help you get a new you. I mean, I know people say, no, it's nobody's job to make sure that you get better. It's nobody's job to make sure that you take control of your health. People say, you know what, man, I hope you get better. But if there's some things that you need to do, some lifestyle changes, and you don't do them, nobody's going to force you to do them.
Right. They're not
I
going to
mean,
force you
nobody,
to do them, but just having someone to encourage you, to have somebody on your back, well, on
yeah,
your side, should I say, I'm going to help you out a little bit. I'm going to encourage you. You can do this. Because sometimes you want to do it, but you get discouraged. When you have
right.
somebody to nudge you a little bit, it helps out.
Yeah. But
It helps out.
sometimes you got to reach out and ask for help, and that becomes a
Exactly.
problem, because nobody's just going to willingly volunteer to help you. Some they will, but they won't do it for 30 days. They won't be in it for 90 days. They won't be in it for 6 months because they're like, man, after about 21 days, they're going to say, he's not serious.
Right.
You know, uh,
Yeah, they
I'm not
might,
getting
or
nothing.
unless they have an excuse of why they're not doing what they need to do.
Yeah, but
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 then they say, man, you can do this. You can do,
yeah.
I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. You can do it.
well, everybody kind of needs a coach.
Yeah.
When you think about it, and not to get way out there, but I was looking at the NFL games. They're getting ready for the Super Bowl.
Right.
Okay, and then I thought about some teams that got to be a new you in 2022, and one of those teams is the Falcons. Because you say, man, the Falcons need a new you in 2022. Now they got the money. They've got the resources. Because sometimes you can have, most people say, man, when I had a money drummer, man, I'd be in the best shape of my life, spiritually, mentally, physically, socially. But you can have the money and the resources, and you still won't be able to get it done. So it takes a little bit more to get a new you. We look at, and I just look at sports. I'm like, now, I don't want to get all over the place, but I look at a team like Tampa Bay, go get Tom Brady, and at least they won a Super Bowl and they got a chance to go to a playoff. Then you say some other teams, you say, man, what's going on? Do these are professionals. Don't they have a New Year's resolution? Don't they want to do better? Are you tired of going 8-8? I mean, so we can look at things and we say, you know what? We can see failure in a lot of things that people are doing, even when they have money, because we see superstars. Uh, uh, we see people with money and means, and we say, man, you know what? If I had the money, man, I'd do this, I'd do that, I'd do this. But most people, the grass always look green on the other side. But when you look at yourself, and you spend a little quality time with yourself, you say, well, like, what do I really want to do in this year that I didn't do last year? Okay. One of the things was I said, well, I want to be a little healthy. I want to lose 20 pounds. So I figure if I drink more water, walk, crawl, hop, or run a mile a day, I'll in 1 year, I should have removed 20 pounds from my body and build up, body mass and muscle.
Right.
And in 1 year, if I save $1 a day, I should have $400 at the end of the year. I know people say, well, that ain't a lot of money.
Even though $400 more than $1 a day, but you should have that.
I should have. And I know sometimes people say, man, you're a grown man. You should have more money than that. But you'd be surprised. I mean, that looks like a little thing to do. But if most people say, I want $10,000. Well, if you can't save $1 a day, you can forget about 10,000 unless you're in that 1%. Now, if you're in that 1%, there's some people that are in the 1%. Guess what? If they say they're gonna have $10,000 by the end of the year, guess what's gonna happen?
They're gonna have that $10,000.
If they're in that 1%, these people are saying, I'm gonna have a new me, a new you. If they want to lose weight, guess what? They're gonna do it. If they want to buy a house, they want to buy a car, because we all set goals, and we went through the whole thing about goal setting. Make it simple, make it measurable, make it achievable, realistic, put some timetables around it, make it elastic with some degree of flexibility, and record the data. Smarter goals. And we know all these acronyms to make ourselves do things. And then we ask ourselves, because we just in day number 25. And out of most of the people have already broken down their January 1st resolution.
So let's talk about some of the things that people might decide they're going to do. Somebody might say, I'm gonna have a new attitude this year. You know, cause some folks act like the world owed them something, but you got to get out and work your butt off to get what you need. You know, people don't owe you anything, so they might change their attitude and say, "I got to get out there and bust my butt. I'm not gonna just sit around and wait on a check to come in." You know, and then there are people who hold grudges against people, and it's making their lives miserable. So this year, I'm going to have a new attitude. I'm forgiving everybody. I'm going to have a new attitude. I'm going to be happy. You know,
Uh,
so that's a good one right there. No more
oh,
grudge
well,
holding,
the
because
power.
it causes a whole lot of pain within yourself and the person you're holding that grudge against. They ain't studying you,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
you know
because
what?
you're hurting yourself with that one. So that's a new attitude right there, the new you.
And that's a good one. And you made me think about the group Shalimar.
Uh
Uh,
huh.
you know, for the last 25 years, that group has been a little but between two people, the two of the lead singers. And I just saw where one of the lead singers apologized to the other lead singer for the things they did to them 25 years ago.
Mm.
Now, to get it out and put it into the universe, I mean, and that's the group Shalimar, but I've seen it with families, like you say, to hold something that somebody did some time ago, you're not able to forgive them. The power of forgiveness relieves us of a lot of stuff. Just, uh, and what I mean, if you got the weight on you from carrying somebody else around in your head, every time you look, you call their name. Uh, I think it's a documented person that says if you call somebody's name other every day other than yours, or Jesus or Muhammad or Buddha, you got
Uh
some
huh.
problems. Some people every day they call the same person's name. It could be ex wife or husband. They say, "Man, I could cook this cake if it wasn't for Willie." And you like what? Man, Willie, I was cooking cake. Oh Willie. That's well, that's her ex-husband. So you don't want to say nothing because she gonna you bring up Willie, she gonna go into about 4 hours of work focusing on Willie instead of cooking the cake, doing her exercise, drinking a bottle of water, saving that $10 a day, calling family members, and then she wonders what happened to her time. So a lot of times the
Mm.
power of not forgiving somebody, like you said, if you want a new you got to release the old you. You got to flush.
Right.
This is like when you go to the bathroom. You got to leave that toxic stuff in the thing, because if you
Yeah, leave
don't,
it behind. Leave
yeah,
it
that's why
behind
they call
and
it.
look
Yeah,
forward.
that's why they call it a behind. You got to wipe your behind, and hopefully, if
Yeah,
you wipe your behind, it comes out clean. Okay, meaning that
yeah.
if you rid yourself of a lot of the frustrations uh, of pain, uh, recently I've had two people that I know, in my past that committed suicide in the last 30 days.
What?
Um, and then if you notice, there are other people that I've caught in the newspapers. One was I think the Martyr president or CEO committed suicide, jumped in front of a train. Uh,
Mm.
Regina Hall's son, that had a whole
Yeah.
lot going for him, committed suicide. Well, a lot of times, and we got a doctor or anybody like that, but when you carry the weight of the world on you, you got problems that exist, and a lot of us, we all have problems, but how we deal with them. If you want to be a better you, one of the biggest ways to deal with a problem is from forgiving. They say most of people's problems go directly to their inability to forgive somebody. They'll trace it back. They say, him and his daddy, man, his daddy, they ever got along. And this
Yeah.
guy is still suffering. And this could be either putting you in a position to commit suicide, are putting you in a position to just have bad health. When people look at diabetes, high blood pressure, ulcers, uh, hypertension, a lot of the cancers and all the stuff that fuels stuff is coming from people's inability to forgive or forget something. Even when you look at black and brown people, I got a brother, and this is a black guy. And he keeps a lot of health issues, but he's got a lot of anxiety, and this is justified, brought on by white people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he just has a problem with
Yeah,
them. I mean, this brother,
you gotta let that go.
you got to let it go. I said, brother, you're
Yeah.
gonna have to let, if he can't. It's been hard for him to keep a job, to stay in a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
to do a lot of stuff. And this has been over years. I don't see this brother every day. You know what I'm saying? But
Uh-huh.
I occasionally I'll get in contact. I hadn't seen this brother in about 7, 8 years, and it was just like the last 8 years ago when I saw him. The same problems he had 8 years ago were the same
Mm-hmm.
problem he had this year, and I saw him on the 3rd of January.
Mm.
Now, and we talk, but we to get a new you in 2022, we got a brand new year. And even if you don't or didn't, just say you already broke one of your New Year's goals or resolution. You can't give up.
No, and there's a lot of goals to reach.
Oh
Not just
yeah.
that one. You might have that one New Year's resolution, but then there's a whole lot of other goals you want to reach. And
Yeah.
one of them could be being assertive. And before we go to that part, I want to
Mm-hmm.
say that with the suicide thing, suicide is a permanent solution. You cannot make a permanent decision on a temporary problem. And so that's what
Mm-hmm.
it is. A lot of problems we have are temporary, but we make that permanent solution decision by committing suicide. And you can't do that because even though it's dark right now, at the end there's gonna be some light somewhere. You know, so you can't just give up and say I can't live anymore.
Right.
I know you're gonna be in a lot of pain. You need to talk to people and all that other kind of stuff. And another thing I was going to say about the new you, be more assertive. Some people are not assertive, and a lot of people say, I am so tired of these people running over me. They just think they can tell me to do whatever, whatever. So it's time for you to get your balls on and be more assertive.
Say
You
it
know,
again.
huh?
What
You
you
need to be
said?
more assertive.
Then you said something else.
Yeah, get your balls on and be more assertive.
Okay. Well, you know what? And I'll say this. This is also if you and we all need help. Okay. Sometimes we need professional help. And whether you do it through a spiritual type person, a life coach, or somebody, a mentor, or somebody that's or a girlfriend, or somebody that you can uh talk to. As a
Mm-hmm.
matter of fact, and statistics show this, men have a tendency to commit suicide more than women. Okay.
Mm.
When I look at the people, and I just thought about this in a moment, that I heard about in the last 30 days that committed suicide, all 4 of them were males.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I knew 2 of them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but one brother got some bad medical news. When he got that medical news, uh, he less than 60 years old, he killed himself. Okay. And another
Mm-hmm.
brother did something similar, pulled a trigger. But what I'm saying, it's good to get professional help. Okay. And I know sometimes people say, oh man, I'm not going to pay nobody to help me get a goal. It's like if you go to a gym, the people that when we talk about the 1%, like I said, 1%
Mm-hmm.
of the people, if they say something, they're going to do it. Okay. But there's
Mm-hmm.
another group as well. They say something, they get help. And that's like 10 to 20% of the population. They go get professional help. They say, you know what?
Yeah.
I need to save some money. Instead of listening to the drummer running his mouth, talking about $1 a day, I'm going to get some professional counseling from somebody in finances that can help me come up with a game plan to go from $100 in 100 days to $1,000 in whatever, 200 days, whatever. And or in your health, somebody say, instead of just drinking a bottle of water, like what drummer said, and running a hopping, I'm gonna go to a professional person, get me a personal trainer, and you'd be surprised how inexpensive these people are. I'm gonna give me a personal trainer, and this is in that 10 to 20% group. They get them some professional help. Next thing you know, guess what? They lost weight, they maintain it, they got a better diet, better eating habits, all this stuff. Because if you ever get sick, one of the things they do, whether you agree with the current medical model here in America, they do bring what they call a kind of like a 5-fold health regimen. You got a nutritionist. Not only did the doctor give you pills and all that type stuff, you got a doctor, you got a nutritionist, you got a spiritual person, and now in order to get better health, you gotta pay and get these people in your life if you want to get beyond the 21-day quitters, which is, they say about more than half the people quit what they started to do. And
but if you have a strong will, you won't need to get into help. Of course, help is always good, but
all right, you're the 1%. You're 1%. You're 1%.
Yeah, even though other people are not in that 1%, sometimes they are strong.
Are you a 1%er?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Okay. But you're a strong-willed person. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm more in that 50%. I need motivation. So what I usually do, I put it into the universe. And when I put it out there, a lot of people ask me, drummer, you still drinking? Just like the other day, I forgot to drink mine. And I've been doing this for 3, 5, or 6 months. I didn't drink any water. And a guy called me, said, drummer, I heard you talk about the water. You drank? I said, oh man, I need to get that water. I didn't drink no water yet. Okay.
Yeah, well, sometimes we forget.
I forget. So, I've got, if you can't afford an accountability partner or a professional person, you need to involve people that are around you. It's just like if you want to do something, and I noticed this, and I know I'm going about football. The guy that was the quarterback for Georgia, that guy, they said he was determined to be the quarterback for Georgia. Okay? Now, if you're familiar with that type of football, you say, I'm going to be the quarterback for the University of Georgia. Well, that takes a lot of guts, okay? You try it out and they say, I'm sorry, you didn't make it. I'm sorry, you didn't make it. You're too short, your weight's not proper, and all of a sudden, one day, you are behind the center, snapping the ball, and you're the quarterback. Now, that didn't come because you wished for it. That didn't come because you said, you know what, I'm going to have a lightweight goal. You had to get a lot of people behind you. He had his town, he had his parents, everybody was pushing and pumping, and even he had people that was saying he couldn't do it. Well,
yeah, but that self-determination is the key, though. You have to be determined, because a lot of times people don't reach their goals because other people are saying you can't do it. But with me, if I set my I can't, the harder I try to succeed. I'm going to show you I can do this. So it's a determination. Sometimes people succeed just to show other folks you can succeed.
Well, but that's a good. Now that's a maybe we have to look at motivators. We can think about it. What are some motivators to kind of motivate you to do a new you? Because yeah, you can look at people that talk you out of your dreams because
Mm-hmm.
they already they done lost hope. They're in that bottom
Mm-hmm.
1%. Matter of fact, if you look at it, like it's 1% of people that can hop on a goal and get it. And then it's less than 1% of the population of people that don't even have a goal.
Yeah.
Ain't thinking about nothing. Now, most of us never run into those folk. We run into the people that orbit around the procrastinators that that do something for a minute and hop out, that type of stuff. But you said
Mm-hmm.
a powerful word, self-determination. And that's a Kwanzaa principle.
Yeah.
Self-determination. If you got self-determination, then nobody has to tell you what to do to get a new you. I mean, you'll listen to people, but you'll say, you know what? This current diet that I'm eating, this food that I'm eating, is not good for me to be productive. And you'll say, you know what? I'm gonna get out of that. This current path of living, you might be a person that work 17, 18 hours a day. And at some
Yeah.
point you say, you know what? I can't do this. I'm burning myself out. I need some balance. But self-determination, and that goes back to spending a little time with me, myself, and I. When you spend a little time with yourself, you say, you know what? I've been thinking. And thinking ain't illegal yet. We got those t-shirts still out there available for the
Mm-hmm.
public. But thinking ain't illegal yet. Once you start thinking and thinking about yourself and how you not necessarily compare to other people, but compare to yourself. And you say, what do I really want? you know, for this year, like I said, well, how can I be healthier? Not necessarily lose weight, but how can I be healthier? How can I take my blood pressure and my blood pressure is good? How can I look at my blood sugar and I got a stable blood sugar? How can I look at whether it's dealing with cancer, prostate, or any other cancers, and I can not show up positive, you know. So, and that means that I got to look at me and say, okay, I got to control what I'm eating and how I'm eating it. Okay, if I
Mm-hmm.
want to save money, if I say, well, you know what, I want to save money. Even if you can't afford, they got so much stuff on YouTube. Now this is free coaching. You can go to YouTube and figure out, or what's that, Google, figure out how you can improve in any area of your life. And that
Yeah,
goes right
because
back
it
to
is a lot of
self-determination.
information on there.
Yeah.
A
And you
lot of
can
information.
you can learn anything. And that's the beauty now, because and we can be optimistic, because if you got an area in your life that you got problems in, you know, like you say, building self-esteem, uh, being more assertive, or some people have to reduce the amount of they're bad people. They don't let people get in the game. They are what's that thing they call that Donald Trump got? They whatever, narcissists, those type people. They're not
Narcissistic.
letting they're not letting anybody else get in the game. Well,
Uh,
sometimes we got to tone down a little bit. If you over aggressive,
mhm.
you could be over aggressive in your family. I was recently talking to a brother, and I think his daughter and his son. He said, I'm kicking them both out the house. I mean, he was so adamant about it. He said, they have let me down. They disappointed me. They've been in college for 3 years. They're failing. They ain't doing nothing but wasting my money and spending my money. So he had got so fired up to the point where he said he was going to kick them out and not give them a dime. But
Mm.
he found out, because he was forcing them to do something that they didn't want to do. The family had
Mhm.
to go to counseling, and he found out that his daughter didn't want to do what she was doing, and his son didn't want to do what he was doing. The only reason they were doing it was because daddy said they had to do it. So he had
Yeah.
to tone down a little bit, and his daughter was about to go into mental depression. She was taking all kind of uppers and motivating pills and stuff like that. The son had got into bad behavior, come from a nice upper class family. And he didn't know what was going on. But that's what contributed to it. His demanding them to be something. And they was fighting them. They was putting holes in the boat. Well, I don't know where they are now, but they on a different pattern. They got a whole different you for 2022. The father had to come back, tone it down a little bit. But that took help. The whole family had to go get counseling.
Yeah, that'll happen. Sometimes parents live through their children, or they be trying to live through their children. The things that they wanted to do and they couldn't do, they want their children to do it,
Oh, yeah.
And that wouldn't be the right thing to do. And it can cause, a problem. That can cause a problem. And a lot of kids say, I don't want to, like a man, I don't want to be a mechanic. I want to be a computer operator. You're going to be a mechanic. I was a mechanic, and you're going to do it too. I have this business here, and I want you to take it over. But I don't like that, So that can cause a problem. Like me, I wanted to be a nurse when I got old. My mom was a nurse. So when I got old, I was going to be a nurse. But in the meantime, I'm going to be a model, actor, singer, and dancer, in my younger years. But I end up not being that nurse because I discovered I don't like sick people. I don't like sick people. Well, I started off in nursing school though.
Yeah.
And when I decided to go into theater, somebody told me to come out of that dream world and go back to nursing. I'm going, this is not a dream world. It might be a dream now, but I'm going to make it a reality. So people will try to talk you out of doing the things that you really want to do, the things that your heart is in. So,
dream still. Well, and that's something when you look at, anybody that's out there, and I encourage people to, that's one of the laws of getting and doing whatever you want to do, putting it out there, is self-determination. If you can't convince yourself that you want to do something, I mean, you got to talk yourself. You got to convince yourself and talk yourself into doing what you want to do. And that takes, positive, what they call affirmations. You got to talk yourself into it. I remember I said, man, I want to run a 6 mile. It was a 5K, which comes out to about 6.5 miles.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I didn't train or nothing. I had paid my money and I said, you know what? You can't do it because you ain't, these folk, everybody in here, they've trained, they've been prepared. I mean, even the worst people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what? I'm gonna at least finish. Now, it took me a lot longer to finish than everybody else. I don't even want to tell you my time. They had went home. They had gone home. They had picked up the road sign. I was so lazy. I stopped by the last place that I think at the 4 mile mark. I said, man, I'm gonna go get me a hamburger. I passed a McDonald's and I went ahead and got a soda. They had stopped. But mentally, I said, you know what? I'm going to finish this race. They had packed everything up.
Yeah, I beat you. I did my first 5K run years ago, and my goal was not to come in last. Okay. And I beat that was my goal. So it was several people behind me, but my goal was not to come in last.
Well, that's good. You get because you got to have something that pump you up. See, I just said I was lazy because you know what? I had almost turned around to go home. Like I said, I stopped by McDonald's and got a soda.
and
they had pulled everything. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna make it. And this we started at, I forgot, I think Piedmont Park, and ran all the way back then. It was Brave Stadium. And it took me. It was about 3-4 hours. But mentally, I think sometimes you have to see completion. So if you got a goal, you want to know you know,
Yeah,
You can go on
you
you
gotta
can go on
complete your
timeline.
goals,
Yeah, you
huh?
can go on timelines. You can say, you know what, I failed. I couldn't make it past 21 days. Well, your next
Mm.
goal should be to go 30 days. You know you can do it for 21 days. Because
Yeah,
that's
you just
where
got to keep on going.
you gotta
Yeah,
keep on going.
one thing about goals and you sometimes it seems like you can't do it. Sometimes you might have to stop and rest, then
Yeah,
continue to go. You might have to ask for help, but you keep
yeah.
on going. But don't let anything stop you. You might have to change directions, but
Right,
don't
right.
give up on your goal. Okay.
What,
And one of the other things about the new you in 22 is putting yourself first. All
mm,
these years behind, you will put everybody else in front of you. If you wanted to go see a movie and somebody asked you to take them to the store, you taking them to the store instead of going to the movies. You give
right.
them your last dollar so they can do something instead of taking that dollar and doing what you wanted to do. A lot of people put everybody else in front of them. So the goal is for the new you in 22 is put yourself first, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because a lot of people they feel guilty because they say no. So no, don't even start that. Don't feel guilty because you said no. A lot of people tell you no and they don't feel guilty. So don't feel guilty because you want something good for yourself. Okay?
Right.
Put yourself first.
Hey,
Always put yourself first. I mean, I know a lot of parents they put their kids, first.
oh,
That's acceptable. You want your kids to have the best and stuff like that. But then sometimes kids can get outrageous too. It's
oh
like
yeah,
no,
you because you ain't
you
gonna be no good if you sick. But look at these 7 things to do in the morning to be productive and healthier. One, understand your body.
mm-hmm,
Uh, two is get moving. Number three, eat healthy breakfast. Uh, uh, start the morning without a device. Looking on the internet, social media. And number five, practice self-care techniques. Number six, get dressed every day. You'd be surprised how many people don't even get out of bed. And be consistent. Uh, all those things are things that we can do to get us into motivation mode. To do the
mm-hmm,
things that you see when you look at the 1% of people, we call them self-starters. Nobody has to tell them what to do. Okay. And they don't even need the new year to be the dictator that says, okay, January 1st, you got to yada, yada, yada. You got to do this, you want to do this. Some people feel intimidated because they said, man, you know what, drummer? If everybody's telling me I need to have a New Year's, I said, no, you don't. You don't have to have a New Year's resolution.
mm-mm,
You can
nope,
wait till your birthday. You can wait till tomorrow, whatever. But if you want to do something different than you did last year, okay? If you were, and this comes from self-evaluation and not comparing yourself to other people, but sometimes you have to look at what other people are doing. Uh, I remember back in the day, I used to go to the club. I was in and see when I was in the Navy, I come back and I wouldn't have no clothes. So I would have to try to figure out because I didn't want to wear the Navy uniform in the club. So I would look
mm-hmm,
back and see what everybody else was doing. So I catch up. I get up to speed. Kind of figure out what was going on, what people were doing, what they're talking about, what was the new dance moves, all this type of stuff. So you have to re-educate yourself and retrain yourself if you want to be a new version of yourself. And that's not selling yourself out. That's putting yourself in a position where you're a lot better than you were last year. If spiritually you're not where you say, man, I wish I had been closer to the Lord, drummer. I wish I had been closer to the Lord. Well, you can work on that. Mentally,
yeah,
if you say, man, all I thought about was my ex-wife, my ex-girlfriend, my ex-husband, or my baby mama. Okay, you can change that.
mm-hmm,
Or physically, you say, man, you know, I need nothing right. My blood pressure is high. Uh, everything they say I'm borderline. It's a wonder I'm moving around. Well, you can do something about all that type of stuff. If your money funny, you say, man, drummer, I was so broke last year. You talk about 100. When you said $100, man, I try to save $5 in 100 days. You know, you can
Yeah,
change all that. I mean, you ain't got to go up against nobody but me, myself, and I. And once
right,
you do that, you say, well, you know what? I'm gonna find out something I can do to make myself better. If you're miserable, like I say, when I ran into that brother, and every seven, you know, I think God's got a sense of humor. I see him about every 7 to 8 years.
every
He's in the
7 to 8
same,
years.
yeah, 7 to 8 years. I hadn't seen that brother in about 8 years. And the last time I saw him was back in 2000 something. And the same thing he said in 2000, he said in 2022.
Mm,
Now, it's going to take something else to get that brother motivated because he was talking about the same people, the same situation. He on the same job he had. I don't know how many jobs I had since 2000, you know, but
mm,
I refused to be miserable. So a new me or a new you in 2022, I think sometimes when people say, you moving around, I'm not saying you need to be all over the place, but I'm
right.
saying you don't have to be in the same position you was in last year. It's always hope.
Right, right. You don't have to. And a lot of times people they stay in these positions because they let people dictate to them what they can and can't do.
Oh
So
yeah.
you're gonna take control of your life this year. New you in 22, you're gonna take control of your life and not let other people dictate to you what you can do with your life. Because they say you can't do this or you need to stay on this job because it gives you all these benefits. No, if that's not what you want, don't do it. Move on, okay? And start putting yourself first. That's the thing. Put yourself first. Don't let people dictate to you what you can and can't do because you're living for you. You're not living for them. You're living to make yourself happy. And another thing, one of the things you might want to do is start holding your tongue. Because some people just like, yep, 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 and it gets you in trouble. Okay? So the new you, I'm gonna hold my tongue because I know I offend a lot of people. But then the other hand, there are some people who do not open their mouth and get offended. So the new you, you're gonna be more assertive and open your mouth and speak up. If somebody's saying something that you don't like, speak up. If they're saying something that's wrong, speak up. Okay? Don't let people talk to you any kind of way and do you any kind of way and just get away with it. No, you need to speak up, be more assertive, put yourself first. Because when you put yourself first, you're not going to let them talk to you anyway because they're doing it for their glory. They're making you look bad so they can look good. Okay, that's basically what it is. Okay, and another thing, realize that you need to start saving some money. Okay, a lot of people don't save money, but now is the time with the economy and the way things are going. Don't spend every dime you have. The new you, save your money. Like Reggie said, if you do it $1 a day, that's good because you never know. Those $5 you save might be emergency money. Okay, so you need that emergency money. You might lose your job or something, and you might need to go to the doctor, and that $5 that you save could pay for your medicine. Okay? So start
Whole thing.
saving money because that is so important. And another thing, I don't know if you guys noticed it or not, but some of the grocery shop, the shelves in the grocery store, some of them are getting empty sometimes. You might need to start taking up gardening, plant some pots, put potatoes or tomatoes or something in a pot, or use your garden, your yard, you know, to do a garden. Start taking. That's a good thing to do. So you'll take pride in the food you raise, and you could eat it. You could go to the garden and pick a tomato rather than going to the store and buying one. Okay, peppers. There's some things that's super simple to make, to raise. So start gardening. That's the new you in 22. You're gonna have a garden on your back patio or in your backyard or your front yard. I've seen people have gardens in their front yard. They take their yard, fill it up, and plant food there because you're gonna need it. You have extra tomatoes. I know they're giving a lot of food away. You have extra food. Sometimes you might want to dehydrate, like onions. They give you a bag of onions, and you know you're not gonna eat them. Dehydrate those onions and put them in bags or jars and save it for later. Dehydrate, what else? Garlic. You
Garlic.
know, if you have it, you know, you can dehydrate that stuff and put it in plastic bags or jars, glass jars, and save it for later. Okay, don't let it go to waste. Or unless you want to just can it and put it in the freezer or something like that. Okay, but the new you, you're gonna be a new you. That's what we're gonna do. And that is going to be it for this week. Unless you have something else you need to say, Reggie, it is time for us to clock out.
Oh yeah, hold up your own end. You can be a new you. It's all up to you. Don't talk yourself out of it.
Yeah, don't talk yourself out. And just remember, procrastination can cause you to lose your destination. Procrastination can cause you to lose your destination. So don't procrastinate. Okay? So until next week, this is Sylvia Hayes and Reggie Drummer on Good News at Primetime. Hook us up, look us up on Facebook. You can see us also on my website. Well, look me up at Power Thoughts. You can check out my Facebook page, Power Thoughts, or Alive and Kicking. Got Alive and Kicking as well. Okay, on the Facebook page. So look us up, Good News at Primetime TV as well. So until next week, we're gonna see you again. See you later. Have a good
See you later.